Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the House Academy Show, entertaining real estate investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, coming from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about why we killed a perfectly good acquisition in California. There's all kinds of reasons that people would do real estate deals or don't do real estate deals.
We've killed several deals and continue to. And we'll happily kill many more deals between now and perpetuity, which I learned that word, it comes out often on Shark Tank.
Perpetuity?
Yes.
Like forever?
Yes.
Jill's seen every episode of Shark Tank
Just about.
ever created.
I tried to. I love that dumb show. I'm like hooked on it. It's so funny.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the houseacademy.com online community. It's free.
Ian says, "Hi, I was just wondering if someone could explain to me what number Stephen is looking for when he compares the total number of vacant land postings on Land and Farm and the total number of properties in the county on the equity planner. I think I understand it's just to see if the county is rural. An example uses urban areas having 0.08 as a bad mailing candidates, but he uses San Bernardino, which is a 0.21 ratio, as a good mailing candidate. I guess what I'm asking is, where is the range, and are people paying a lot of attention to this metric? Thank you for your input. Also, what would be a bad number on the high end? I found a county that has a number of 1.36%.
What he's talking about is the percentage of numbers, percentage of properties that are listed for sale against the total number of properties of that product type. So if there's 100 properties in a given county, I'm just using this for a math example, 100 number of vacant land properties in a county.
Or houses.
100, or houses or apartment buildings, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just using, this is the House Academy show.
Yeah.
100 houses in a county or a zip code, let's say.
That are for sale.
That are just 100 properties. If there's 100 properties in the whole zip code and one property's for sale, that kicks out a number of 1%.
Right.
And anything below 1%, I'm not sure what he means by these numbers exactly, but the lower the better. You want less properties for sale. And I think on Thursday, Jill and I do the weekly webinar call, and our members, we do a program called Would You Do This Deal? So people give us, they send mail out and they've got acquisition candidates and Jill and I in front of everybody. So there's a learning mechanism. And what ends up happening once in a while is that we get a great property in, we love it, it's got access, the price is right, then we go to look it up on Realtor.com or Redfin or anywhere, and there's just too many damn properties
too many houses
for sale.
Exactly. The numbers look great, but then you look at it, you're like, there's too many like kind properties. Well, how are you going to be different?
So
you're going to be really competing. You might be holding on to it for a while.
There's several steps that I think you need to take, that I take before I send any mailer out ever. And one of them is looking at that number, because you don't want to spend money on mail and spend all your time analyzing data if there's just a ton of properties for sale in a zip code. It's too easy to go one zip code over, or just, you do all this stuff up front before you spend any money.
It's a good test for reason that you have before you send out some mail too. Is how much is available in that county or that city or that zip code or the census tract, whatever you're trying to do for houses. The other thing I love that you talk about is Stephen's really good at saying you want it to be a low number, and B, you want it to be going down. So in a perfect world, the inventory is becoming less available. Then this is one of the things we do in the equity planner. Days on market, okay, hopefully it's less than 30. There's not a lot available for sale, and you see it going down, ding, ding. That's where you're gonna wanna send out to buy a house.
Equity planner is something that our members use both in land and houses. It's a key to stay organized. It's a way to plan to create equity through the acquisition of real estate. You can do it with houses and land and just about anything else. And so it makes a lot of sense to download. It makes all the sense in the world to download data for houses. We use zip codes and pit the zip codes against each other. That's why, you take 10 zip codes in a little area. I always use Mesa, Arizona as an example, because Jill and I bought a lot of houses and sold a lot of houses there. There's about 9 zip codes, and I can tell you right now, there's probably about 8 or 10 factors that I look at, and every time I do it, it's glaringly obvious which zip code needs to be mailed and which one doesn't.
This is something, just so you know too, this is something that we provide to everybody in House Academy. you have this table kind of pre-filled out, if you will, with examples at the top and direct instructions from Stephen on video showing you, go here, pull this line from this site, pop it in here,
Yep.
you know, click this whatever, because
take a
this will
drink of
do
your
the
coffee.
numbers, and then you'll see, you know, how these areas rank against each other. Because even though say you want to you want to buy houses in Atlanta, well, not every zip code in Atlanta is going to be what you think it is, and it's
That's right.
amazing when you really get into it and you line them up. You're like, wow. I'm so glad that I did this little check, because I would have been mailing over here when I should be mailing over
Exactly.
here. You'll see like, wow, the days on market are even a little bit better over here, and the way the inventory is going and the prices, ding ding. Like you just said, 2 or 3 of those 10 zip codes, when you pop them in, that cover that whole area of Atlanta you were going to target, it's going to be glaringly obvious.
Yeah, and all the numbers are relative to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You can't compare, like, let's say, New Jersey to Atlanta,
Right.
or, Trenton, New Jersey. And then there's a bunch of statistics in there that I can't imagine doing a mailer that you wouldn't. It would be like, I don't know, you're just going in blind.
Well, this is why we love House Academy, and why we keep telling everybody too. Houses are so much easier because we can really, really tell. We really have this data. It's, thanks to the real estate community of America.
What?
The national real estate. This stuff is out there and available. Come on, we
The
all
real
know.
estate community of America.
It's-
Thank you, real estate community of America.
Exactly. I am clearly not a card carrying member.
You need a little statue. You need an award. Give you a little award speech,
But you know
Jill.
what I mean? But thanks to the real estate
The
professionals that
National
we,
Association of Realtors.
you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I was going beyond that, but it's just like, with houses, it's way more accurate and documented, than raw vacant land. And I think a lot of it is because you can lend upon a house, and so those numbers are out there everywhere.
Yeah.
Versus land, you usually can't. So it's so easy to fudge. It's like buying a car off Craigslist or a dealer. The dealer's there's gonna be a receipt. But if you buy it on Craigslist, we say, I think I sold it to you for $1,000. Yep, that sounds good. We're gonna call it $1,000. I'm gonna go forward with that. And no one questions it. So it's funny.
When I started this in the 90s, there was none of this data was available. None of it. There's no realtor.com or redfin.com. The MLS wasn't online.
Parcelfact wasn't here. It was hard to
Right.
find this stuff.
And I look back at what we actually bought, and the information that we got on an acquisition candidate would come in, and we would just buy it on price. Like, well, I didn't even look it up. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I could find it on an atlas, literally on an
Oh,
atlas, like that you would keep in your car.
We used to have like real driving directions
Yeah,
on our sites. It's so funny.
exactly.
It's so
This
good.
is before like Google Earth.
That is amazing. We didn't have our phones.
It's like, man, I look at it every once in a while. I think about that, especially when I'm doing a mailer. I'm like, wow, this is like the amount of data that's available that we're making decisions on
Yeah.
is amazing.
Careful, because you're starting to age yourself when you talk about what the MLS used to look like.
Well, the MLS used to be in a book, like a phone book size book.
Yeah.
It would come out every month.
Isn't that hilarious?
Isn't that nuts?
How hard was that? Ah,
It's crazy.
yep.
Today's topic, why we killed a perfectly good acquisition in California. This is why you're listening. Jill and I got together with another member of our group who has contacts with developers, people who buy property, in Los Angeles, and they buy it based on the zoning, not necessarily the actual structure that's on there. So we sent out a massive mailer, and just like clockwork, a bunch of properties came back. And one property came back, and the person that we sent the mailer out for passed on the deal. Like I say, you always want to kind of be filling somebody's order.
Right.
So Moneybags passes on the deal.
Let me go back and say, we were really close to, we sent it out at like 0.7, 70% of current market value. And the guy we were like at, I don't know, $940,000 or something like that. And the guy said, make it 980 and you got a deal.
Yeah.
And it was like a no-brainer.
And it was
Isn't
probably worth $1.2 million.
Exactly. I wanted to add that in there because it was a really good deal.
Yeah. And so why did we pass on it? Here's why. Generally, Jill and I don't really ever want to have for sale property is what I call it. We used to call it that in Detroit. I don't know why. What it means is we're going to buy the property, we're going to put it up for sale and see what happens.
Right.
We just almost not, unless it's just an incredible deal. The two deals that we've done, and the two deals we did in 2019 that ended up being for sale property, took like 6 to 8 months to sell.
Yeah.
And that just drives both of us nuts.
Right.
So even for $200,000, we first of all, I
What was
wasn't
the
interested
house?
in writing $1 million check personally
Right.
for a property that was not in a very good part of Los Angeles. But I know we would make the money. I know we would easily, it was an apartment building
Right.
and it was fully leased in a huge area of apartment buildings. So we just looked at each other and said, you know what? We don't need this.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to do that. For me, that's the whole moral here. Don't try to see something that's not there, even though you know, okay, yeah, we knew we're buying for 960. It's worth 1.2 right now. But the guy, and we had a couple people pass on it. I'm like, if they don't see the value of it, I'm not going to take the risk and just move on. We had how many other deals that were
Right.
great that we could act on, that everybody was interested in, and just let it go. And I feel bad because, I had to send that, actually I ended up emailing at the end.
How'd that go?
He went dark. But it's okay. But, I had to, sometimes you have to make that tough call, or send that hard email like, man, I'm sorry, but this isn't going to work out.
This is before NeighborScoop. So if we had NeighborScoop at the time, I would have texted or called all the owners of all those apartment buildings within 3
Right.
or 4 block radius and said, look, we've got this property. And by the way, I know you spent
Right.
X on the property that you own here, 2 blocks away. This one would cost you Y.
Right.
So in relation to that, it seems to me like you would probably be interested in buying this.
Right. I want to go one step further and just share, because this comes up. People go, gosh, you can do this? And the answer is yes. Because I want to lock in the deal. When the deal comes in and we love it, before we really turn it over to money bags, as you want to call them, it's hilarious. I open escrow. So I have a signed purchase agreement, right? And I open escrow. I have an escrow number. Now I'm feeling really good about this. I'm okay sharing it with other people. They can't come in sideways, steal it from me, kind of thing. So we went that far. And people kind of go, oh, wait a minute. When they sign the purchase agreement and you agree to it, now you open escrow. Aren't you bound to this? Nope. The answer is no. And it's I don't like to do it. I don't want to do it. I try to quickly let the person know that's my goal. If it's not going to work out, just real quick undo it and just say, I'm sorry. This isn't going to happen, kind of thing. And we've had it happen to us. Things change. I just wanted you to know that you're not bound to that. And we even have, that's one of the reasons too on our purchase agreement. If you haven't seen it in a while, go over to offerstowners.com. That's our direct mail company. And there's a free house offer mailer template that you can download and read and look at and use if you want. But you can see I've got, 5 different things on there. I can't remember what you wrote that said this is subject to this, 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 and this, that we have all those things that we can say, we don't want it after all.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's one sentence in there and says we reserve the right to not close this deal for any reason at all. We reserve the right to change our mind.
Yeah, and that's okay. and then in the end, stuff
And we almost
happens.
never do. We almost always buy. If it gets to that point,
Right.
probably 98% of the time we buy it.
Yeah, I usually do. But it was just, I like that. Thank you for this topic today. It's good to talk about that. It doesn't always go as planned. And am I worried about it? No. Am I upset about it? No. Am I mad at that buyer? No. Whatever it is, it didn't, sing to him, and that's fine. We moved on to another deal.
I wonder why.
In the end,
that was passed on.
you know what? That's what's so funny about this too. I don't think we don't really know what the answer was. I think his response, what got back to me was not the right price. I'm like, oh, come on. What is $1 the right price? Because I don't think that was the answer. Because it was the right price. I think there was something else going on.
I think
area.
that particular buyer got cold feet on the project, not just on the deal.
Right. It could have even just been the wrong time. Sometimes that happens. You never really know. He could have six he just put under contract. Now he's got to go, oh, I can't do this one. I've got too many right now. My team is already, working triple time.
Right.
Stuff happens. Happy you could join us today. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can find us over at the Land Academy Show. Tuesdays and Thursdays, right here where you are at the House Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called How to Use Paid Social Media to Sell Land.
Oh, that applies to all kinds of things.
Facebook marketing is what I'm talking about. And we'll talk all about it tomorrow. It has truly changed our lives. It's that big. And not just for these companies that we own, but other companies also that we own.
Love it. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Thanks, Jill.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
You can end it.
Oh, okay. The House Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We're Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.